Good morning. We don't have an intro, evidently. I don't know why that didn't start.
Oh,
okay.
Here we are.
Yeah. Good morning.
I was waiting for the opening.
Surprising, but hey, it's Wednesday. Anything can happen.
Yeah.
Yes.
What a way
Welcome
to start the show.
live.
Yes.
Yeah. How long have we been live? Now I'm nervous.
No, not long. Not long. It
24
just hit the
seconds.
button and it started. Evidently, we didn't have the intro set up like we were supposed to. I don't know what happened. But all right. Anyway, good morning.
Incompetent help.
That's right.
Yeah.
We at least get that much.
Yeah. Quite ironic today, but hey, it is what it is.
So, what a day it is, yes.
Indeed. So joining us today so far, more will be coming later on, but so far we have Mr. Paul Chato. How's things going?
I'm good. We've had some weird forest fires in Northern Ontario, and it literally, our atmosphere has gone yellow here.
Wow.
We've gone totally sepia tone. Totally, it's very creepy.
Well, that's disconcerting, but
it is disconcerting.
Yeah. I mean, that kind of stuff belongs in The Wizard of Oz, and that's kind of sort of thing, not necessarily in Canada today. But yeah, also I'm curious, the French Canadians, are they upset that the French Foreign Legion team in soccer is now out?
The Quebecers have no connection to French.
Okay, they don't care then.
In fact, the largest French immigrant population is in Toronto. They don't like being in Quebec.
Huh. Yeah, but
Quebecers will literally go to France, and the more jerky individuals will keep asking them what in French, pretending they don't understand them. Yeah, there's not a lot of love between France and the Quebecers.
Yeah, or anyone else, but hey,
well,
that's neither here nor there. So,
there's that too.
Yeah, and there's Paulie also.
Hey, Paulie.
Hey, Paulie, how's it going?
Good. Who are we bashing again right now? What's going on?
French.
Right now, we are bashing the French.
It's too easy.
Yeah. Are you rooting for Spain?
Fuck yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Spain, Argentina.
Yeah.
I mean, they've been fun games, you know.
Yeah, they have, absolutely.
You know what I really don't like, and I understand why you got to do it, but I just absolutely hate the penalty goals.
You mean after?
No, during the game.
Yeah.
Why are we talking about football? Andre hates football. Tom is like,
I don't hate it. I just don't care.
I care
that like I'm very much.
I'm trying not to fall asleep.
I'm very much so a fair weather supporter. So like I care now when Norway was in the World Championship.
Sure.
That's the first time I cared about football since 1998, which is the last time we were in the championship. So yeah, I'm not going to be faced either way. I will say about the penalty though. How about that save from Brazil when they had one against Norway? That was something. But yeah. Of course, doesn't help because neither Brazil nor Norway there anymore. So let's move on with the other news here because we have other things. Hyper Guyver, for instance, says for $5, I can't wait to not watch this again. Alan Ing, he's the one who made that quote in Film Threads. First reaction for the Odyssey. And then he says, just saw the trailer for I Play Rocky, and damn, does it look good. Sony sucks. Physical media is king. A lot to get into in that particular one right there. I think we can save the Odyssey stuff because we have more to go with right there. But the trailer for I Play Rocky, more of us just saw that one.
Wait a second. I don't think you can put in 3 topics for only $5. I think you need to split them up and make them $5 each. I think this goes completely against the medical community.
I agree with
one
that.
illness at a time. Hyperguyver. Anyways, please continue.
Yeah. Anyway, let's focus on the I Play Rocky trailer. I know some of us have just seen that, and yeah, that was good. I first learned of that from Mr. Chato. Said there's a new Rocky movie. I was like, what? Stallone made another Rocky movie, and I had no clue how'd that happen. But yeah, no, it's a documentary about the making of the movie, and Tom was certainly overall pleased with it as well.
Well, it's actually a biopic, not a documentary.
Yeah, it's not a doc.
Yeah,
biopic, but it's got the kid from we were talking about it a while ago. The kid from The Offer is in it, playing Rocky, or playing Stallone, I should say.
Played Pacino in The Offer, yeah.
And he played Pacino in The Offer.
Good actor.
It looks good. I can kind of tell with the direction there. I kind of figured what they would do, kind of parallel Rocky's story with the story of Stallone, refusing to give up the role, is basically the same as Rocky refusing to give up in the movies, right? So yeah, it's a great story to tell. They got a good actor playing the role. There's a couple people in there, I'm just like, they don't look or sound anything like the real people, but some are spot on. So looks very interesting, and looks like they paid great attention to detail.
Mm-hmm.
So
it gave me the feels when I was watching it. In contrast to the Odyssey, this really got to me. Now, someone mentioned in the, maybe someone here who knows more about this project than I do. I know nothing about it. Apparently, Stallone has nothing to do with it. Is it based on some kind of book that someone else wrote that Stallone had nothing to do with? I mean, what?
I think it was just pitched as an idea. I mean, the story is fairly well known as far as Stallone telling the story quite often. But, I mean, yeah, it's perfect grounds for a movie like this.
Oh, why wasn't it done sooner?
Well,
just fantastic.
I mean, I think The Offer kind of helped open the door for things like this. I mean, we've had movies and TV shows based on stuff before, but I think the way that approached it hadn't really been done that way before. And this kind of has a lot of the same kind of feel to it. Kind of like Michael did in a way too. I mean, more so than Bohemian Rhapsody at that point. But I mean, you can kind of capture that moment in time just right, and they're doing it well as far as recreating the scenes, you can tell. And this kid he looks and sounds just like Stallone.
He looked and sounded great.
I haven't seen it yet.
Oh, you haven't seen the trailer? It's like almost 3-minute trailer. It
gives just dropped this morning. Yeah, I've been really slammed with.
You should check it out. So. You'll like it, Paulie.
I know. No, I'm gonna definitely do it on our.
Speaking
on
of Paulie, the only one in the trailer I really didn't care for is the guy that got playing Burt Young. I'm like, what? Who the fuck picked him?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
No, I didn't mind him. Like, who cares?
How about his dad? Are they gonna?
Lupita Luongo is playing Burt Young's role.
Yes, that's why. Yes.
How about his dad? Is his dad gonna be played in the storyline?
I don't think they brought him up in the trailer, but it doesn't mean it's not going to be a part of the story. I don't know.
It's a big part of his personal upbringing and him becoming a writer.
The kid that got playing Carl Weathers is great.
Oh, okay.
Stuff like that. So it looks interesting. Looks good.
Yeah, no, there's a bunch of trailers this time. I haven't seen Digger, this one, the Batman 2.
Digger's weird.
Well, I mean,
Digger feels like a weird sequel to Dr. Strangelove. We know.
Yeah, it feels forced.
I don't know about the forced part, but it feels like there's something off about it. I don't know if it's a weird off or just like I said, it has like this Dr. Strangelove feel about it, where it's like, if basically, Tom Cruise is playing like what Peter Sellers would have played.
Well, they did go meta with the first trailer, with like showcasing basically the entire career of Tom Cruise leading up to this. That was very Peter Sellers in Doctor Strangelove. Yeah, I agree with that.
I think we watched that together, Andre, live. That's right.
We did.
Yeah.
We'll see.
That was the first I ever heard of it.
I mean, one of my all-time, Iñárritu is one of my all-time favorite directors. Some are great, some of his movies, but some aren't. I hope he knocks it out of the park with this one.
Yeah, I hope so too.
Yeah, it is. I think the character you're having problems with is Matt Dillon played, I think, the Burt Young. Matt Dillon plays.
No, it says Matt Dillon's playing Sly's dad, I think.
Oh, Sly's dad. Okay.
Oh, really?
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good casting.
That's what because Paulie had asked. Yeah.
That's a great
But I don't think I
cast.
saw him in the trailer though. If it did, it was quick.
Yeah, Digger is. I don't know. It looks really weird. It's obviously something to do with eco. There's an eco story in this, and Digger obviously, I'm guessing, was the shovel that he used to dig out the very first well that started his.
That's what my guess is.
Yeah, it's Rosebud basically.
It's kind of got this weird, like if basically, if Kubrick was going to make a disaster film like Strangelove all over again, now it's kind of what it has, that kind of tone going for it.
And
like
I was telling prosthetics in it.
Yeah, and I was telling Andre, it almost has like a comedic version of Shin Godzilla in a weird way, of this whole idea of the government not knowing how to deal with this problem, and the problem just getting worse and worse and worse while they're trying to come up with a solution for the original problem that's not going to work anymore. That's kind of what it felt like. This compounding problem that this guy creates, and John Goodman president characters like Digger's going to dig us out, but
that felt odd. John Goodman.
I don't know where they're pulling it from. I just hope there's not a Trump allegory. If anything, it feels more like a Putin, or not Putin, Jesus Christ, Biden allegory is what I was thinking, because he's barely alive, can't hardly, like, they're just trying to keep him alive, like, as much as they can.
Well, there's definitely a theme of growing old, which he can't deal with.
Yes.
I'm pretty
sure
the
fact that it's Tom Cruise doing it is even more hilarious.
Yeah. Well, the John Goodman one is what I was talking about, where he's playing the president. He's like barely alive. Like, they're doing everything they can to just keep him alive. Like, that to me kind of felt Biden-esque, because I'm like,
well, if they do the satire well, then
going to go after Trump.
If they do the satire well, then they're going to go after just corruption and the politicos, which I'm all for.
Yeah, because that seems to be the main part of the story, is just like how powerful is a powerful company and what they can get away with. And I'm sure this is like a comment on everything between like the oil spills and stuff over the years and stuff like that. Any kind of disaster that was brought on by a corporation, basically.
Yeah,
is my guess.
Anything that can be blamed on us, even though it was done to us and not by us.
So but let's see what else y'all are talking about.
Well,
I'm a physical media king. Like, Sony's fucking themselves.
Well, then you have to say what they're doing.
Okay, so what people are talking about here is Sony has announced that the PS6 will not have any disc-based functionality. It will only be downloadable stuff, which is causing a lot of people going, I might as well buy a Steam Brick or whatever the hell they're called. Because at that point, they're like, what is the point of having a PlayStation? I can't own anything.
But that's hypocritical. This is silly.
You say that, but I disagree with you, Paul, because you're not seeing the grander picture here. The point is that the fact is they could take this shit away any fucking time they want, and they have, and alter it and do whatever they want to it.
Yeah, but BattleNet took away my game 10 years ago. So, like, what's the diff?
Well, are you happy about that?
No.
Is it like now it's lost media, isn't it?
Yeah,
is there any way that we can find it now?
Anymore. I wasn't happy then, but my point is that this has been going on for an awful long time. And I talked about it with my son, we both are on Steam. And the only reason I think Steam has been good to everybody is because of the owner of Steam. He's been very benign. But if he goes away and Steam gets taken over by some hedge fund, they're going to be bastards about it.
And there's an irony.
We're living on a knife's edge.
Yes, correct. And this is about preservation and preventing media from getting lost. Because, for instance, when it comes to movies, the vast majorities of movies that no longer exist, it's for kind of like a good reason, because it's from the infancy of the media. It's like the movies from the 1900s, 90s, 10s, 20s, 30s. Those are the ones which are missing on everything that the BBC made for TV and a number of other channels in like the 50s, 60s, 70s when they would retape. So that's like lost media when it comes to movie and TV. Now, when it comes to video games, it's much more frustrating because it's stuff that it's not the old stuff. The old stuff you can all find. None of that is missing, assuming it was ever released. What's missing is everything that was released digitally only on the PlayStation Network and stuff like that since 2006 up until today. Like, for instance, the high-definition remake of Earthworm Jim, which should be available everywhere. Lost Media. Same with a bunch of other stuff, other remasters, cool games, gone, as if they don't exist. As if they never existed. There's Punisher games made for the 2008 movie, gone, because they were digital only.
I mean, that's pretty much it. Like, the video game community is now coming to the head that, you know, the music and the film community has come to, and to an extent, the television community, where they're trying to basically make gaming streaming too, right? To where they control everything. And that's one group that loves to have more control over what they're doing than anybody else, because they love to tinker around with it, right? And look, the point is, and I'm not trying to yell at you, Paul, but I disagree with you, because this to me is this is a symptom of a bigger problem, which is why people are upset about it. It's not just about the games themselves, because you're not wrong, right? Like, I mean, shit like this happens all the time. But we're talking about not just games, we're talking about media in general, and how people are understanding finally what digital downloading is, or streaming really is, compared to actually owning something physically. And people understand the value of that now compared to what they did 10, 20 years ago. And they're starting to wake up.
There's still the issue is the nature of the two media, and that is movies are more akin to single player games. You don't improve them once they're out. They're done. That's a big difference right there. So once you've got the movie, and hopefully you can get and I totally agree, you know, the physical media side on movies. I'm not arguing that at all. The fact is that if you can get your favorite movies onto physical media, then you kind of have it forever. Although it's harder and harder to find a player. You
don't think that's by design, Paul?
No. I totally get it. Yes. No. I'm not doubting that at all. I'm saying that that's a problem, but we're still dealing with a medium that will continue to play as long as your player exists. On the computer side, you've got generations of games from the PlayStation 1 and 2 that won't play on the future platforms, and the future platform games aren't backward compatible. You're not going to be able to play Grand Theft Auto 6 on your PlayStation 3. I mean, and that's kind of both designed, and plus you're also dealing with the fact that you're dealing with computing, which changes over time, and they just can't play the more stressful games. On the other hand, you have either a game that's, as I mentioned, just a stub file on a DVD where it has to download the entire thing, or you've got the massive day one update, which has now become a joke.
Well, those are all issues, right?
Pardon me?
And those are all issues that are symptoms of a bigger problem overall.
Yeah, but it almost there's no other solution than if they're going to continue making the games the way they're making them, it's almost impossible to not have it as an online offering similar to Google Docs, because our company uses Google Docs, and it just gets improved constantly. They add features. It's really, really a good system to be able to not have to constantly download and update Microsoft Word back in the day. There are benefits to having that kind of stuff, except that Google now has also increased our monthly prices out of the blue.
And certification.
And we have no choice, right?
Yeah.
So exactly. It's a mixed bag. But I people are used to downloading their games from Steam now. I don't know.
I do feel it's pertinent to mention, like, this is not something that I have followed in detail, but I did see WDW Pro put out a video of some report where gamers now actually prefer older games
Yeah.
to newer games, not necessarily from the 90s, but games which are like 10, 15 years old compared to newer games. Part of that has to do with wokery, part of that has to do with basically just that games were better in a sense. And I remember when we looked at like some Batman game or something like that for the PlayStation 5, and then we looked at a similar Batman game from the PlayStation 3, and to my untrained eyes, because I'm not a gamer, the PlayStation 3 game looked better.
But again, we're missing the bigger picture here. It's not about the games themselves. I mean, yes, it is to a point, but it's not about.
True.
It's about the preservation, right? It's about the ability to have the ownership of, and the inability of the corporations to take the shit away, right? And Real Zeal says try finding a CD player, but record players are abundant. That used to be the case in the last year or so. If you start looking, CD players are back into production again.
Yeah.
And because across the board, when it comes to media, people are starting to learn if you don't own a physical copy, they can change, alter, take it away, do whatever they want to it at any given time. And again, it has less to do with the idea that it's just a video game than the fact that these people are controlling our media. And this is something they've wanted to do forever. This is why they were against the VCR and they got behind the Laserdisc player instead. This is why they loved it when we went disc-based, and this is why they're loving it, because they can take it away from us now, and we don't care because most people don't even have a player anymore.
Try to get a Blu-ray player. I'm just looking to see whether you can get one on Amazon.
You can, but it's, again, you're looking at either refurbished or it's going to cost you up the wazoo, because there's only like 3 or 4 companies that actually make shit anymore that aren't just some cheap knockoff company. But we also have Chris Brawley joining us, speaking of cheap Chinese knockoffs.
Gentlemen?
Yeah, hey, Chris. I'd gotten a really good Blu-ray DVD player at a nice vintage store in Palm Springs.
Well, look at that. Yeah.
I mean, but that's like a nice, they had a lot of great gear there.
You'd actually be surprised how many thrift stores have players, because I walked in and got a 4K player. It doesn't have HDR or anything like that. It's an early 4K player, but it only cost me $7.
I sent you the photo, Tom, of when I was there. Remember? Yeah.
I mean, and a lot of people don't realize that the PS3, the PS4, the Xbox One, and stuff like that play them. But some people are starting to realize that, and like I said, same thing with music too. And a lot of that comes because, for one, vinyl is just because a lot of people are realizing vinyl is a pain in the ass, and it's a lot of investing your time and effort, and I'm somebody who I have tons of vinyl and I hate vinyl.
Oh man, I love vinyl.
I like the idea of it, but it is so maintenance heavy compared to just popping a CD out and putting it in. And 9 times out of 10, well, there's that too. Well, then in 9 times out of 10, this is another thing that just kind of boggles my brain. And this is especially when the whole MoFi thing blew up. It's like everybody's freaking out because they realized that MoFi was using a digital step in the process. It's like, duh. Everybody has since like the 80s. Like, since when do you think that they have ever gone straight analog to analog when it comes to records? Last time they've done that had to be the late 80s, at least, because everything's been digitally mastered for so long, and then they're like totally surprised when they find out that there's a digital step in the process. It's like, how can you not be surprised? Do you really think they're going to let you run the master tape 50,000 fucking times to run that many goddamn prints of an album? It's just not going to happen.
It's just more of a I'm sorry. Go ahead, Chris.
No, I was just going to say, you can see sort of this ebb and flow of this media coming back into favor. Like there for a while, before everyone got back into vinyl, you could get records for super cheap.
Yeah.
CDs did the same thing. And now CDs on the secondary aftermarket still, on eBay are up. Whereas 5 years ago, no, you could get all kinds of stuff that's not available on Spotify still. On CDs, we really bulked ours up. I think Blu-ray was in that, and the DVD discs were, but now they're going up. So I just recommend everybody, the next one to go up is 8 tracks. So look for those 8-track tapes.
VHS and cassettes, I think, are the one that people are going to draw a line on. There's a little nostalgia for them, but I think people are realizing how crappy of a format they are.
Gosh,
and I think the other
know.
thing with CD, that the reason the kids are picking up on that is because I think they finally realized that it does sound better. See, because these kids have been raised on MP3s.
Yeah.
Right. So they've been listening to compressed music their entire life. And then when you jump from MP3 to a record, I'm sure there's going to be a variance in sound. Because that's where I've been sitting here scratching my head all this time going, how can people say that records sound better than CD? Now, that you may sound better to you, or you like the idea of how it sounds better, but it's just not possible when the master.
It's better than the Napster downloaded files.
Exactly. And that's what I was just getting at, is like when people hear that CD for the first time compared to that Napster download or the Spotify, bitrate starved version they're listening to, and they hear more depth and clarity to it, it's like, it's a world of difference.
Well, that's why you're
in my
seeing
opinion,
Spotify.
I'll give you.
Go ahead, Paulie.
In my opinion, Tom, I'll give you the sound, of course, but the ritual of
exactly
putting on a record and cleaning it and doing all that, maybe sharing it with someone that comes, like, it's just fun, man. And then,
well, as Paul knows, that's how we used to break our weed up, man.
Boom! Happy birthday, Cheech. 80 years old.
Oh, wow.
How many Cheech and Chong albums do you think were destroyed by people rolling joints on?
Oh boy.
Yeah, I mean, it's another era. I would literally go into Sam the Record Man, see the latest 10 albums that got released that week, and I would buy an album literally based on the album cover art, and go, wow, this just blew my mind. And I would sample the band, the double album. To me, it was fantastic. But that was the way for me to sample a band that I would never have thought of otherwise. Like, okay, they really got me in the feels with that album cover. It looks great, and I'm going to give it a try and see what happens. And more often than not, it worked. But you can't. Number one, CDs reduce the album cover to like that much. Yeah. And now you go to Spotify or Apple Music, and they're
that much. Yeah.
That much. It's not as much fun, and the kids these days have no idea how good we had it.
Yeah, I mean, it was a different time, and I remember, there was a big deal about when albums would drop compared to even in the CD era, but just things tapered off, and when everything became so conglomerated and separated at the same time, as far as like people going their own directions, but yet all the companies owning all the music, it's becoming the same thing with video games, becoming the same thing with films. Ooh. Yeah, look what do you got there.
Like, you have a favorite artist that's traveling or touring. Like, what are they selling? You want to support that. That's what I'll tend to do.
This is the greatest punk rock band you've never heard of. They're called The Unsatisfied. They've been around for 25 years, and it's like Southern goth punk rock. It's so good. Unsatisfied.
I thought it was polka.
And they're on Spotify. And it's to your point, Tom. Spotify and Netflix, to adapt and grow and evolve, are offering those higher bit rate packages because people are noticing, hey, this is low res on my 72 inch TV or whatever, or it doesn't sound quite right when I'm in a bad cell phone area on my phone.
Well, that's where I've fallen in love with Qobuz. Like, it's got high resolution audio, and they have a great selection, and you actually have the ability, if you buy it, to download the high resolution files and have access to them and do whatever the fuck you want with them.
Well, you guys started out talking about gaming, and Steam, I think, lets you download the game.
Yep.
I think, okay. Even after the game's no longer available, from what I understand.
And I think I mentioned them before, because they say right on their website, if you buy something, make sure you download it right away, because we could lose the rights at any time. They're very transparent about that. Like, they don't hold that back. So they let you know that right up front.
Yeah.
Because and it was the one where I showed you guys where, like, you could buy the listen to the Live Aid album, but the only song you couldn't listen to was the Bryan Adams one, because he had the rights held back on it. So you have that shit all the time where there's tons of albums. It's like you can only listen to like 4 or 5 tracks off an entire album because of whatever reason for licensing. But I don't have that problem on the album I have on my shelf, though. See,
right.
Just a point of clarification, punk music died in 1992, so I don't know what
that's when they were born. These guys are the undead, for the record. Hey, I will say this about the download. That really is the last sort of digital frontier, is whether or not they're going to let you download it. It happens in books and comic books and publishing, and of course now it's happening with the games, but there is not a music one yet, and that is why I think piracy is still a thing. Movies, there are some downloadable movies, and of course some bands, like I think the Unsatisfied there, I mean, they do offer some downloads on their website, or you can buy them. But Spotify's not letting you download music. It's letting
you can with Apple, and you can with Qobuz, and you can with HD Tracks and a few other places.
Well, I was going to say, even with Spotify, you can kind of you can have it downloaded to your phone so you can listen to it on the airplane or whatever. But it's not as though it's something you could say, okay, now I'm going to put this on my Mac or my PC and I'll have it forever, right?
Yeah, you can usually do most of them with the proprietary app. But that's why, like, I was specifically mentioning Qobuz, because like they let you have the WAV files or the FLAC files or whatever files you decide you want. You can keep downloading it until they lose the license.
Yes.
So yeah. But anyhow, let's keep moving, because you guys have got some more super chats in the way, and I think Hyper Guyver definitely got his $5 worth. I think Paul was right. I think he owes us 2 more super chats.
That was my point.
Kidding. But he's not wrong. No.
He owes us a lot of freaking money, man.
No,
$5. Cough it up, man.
Burnouts 3S3Z2V sends in 5 and says, what justifies a 3-hour film for you as opposed to watching a miniseries, i.e. the Dune films versus the Dune miniseries on the Sci-Fi Channel? This is a great question, Burnouts. And I remember our good buddy Script Doctor, whom I miss greatly because he's always so busy and doesn't get to join us as much anymore. But he took so much heat for going out and saying, you know, what happened to the normal film lengths, right? Like movies used to kind of have like you would kind of go in and you didn't have to really check and see how long a movie was, because if it was a comedy, you knew about 90 minutes you were going to be out of there. If it was an action film, about 1 hour and 45 minutes, you were going to be out of there. If it was a big epic sprawling drama, 2 hours, maybe 225 tops. But the exception to the rule was The Godfather, The Lord of the Rings, Gone with the Winds, the very rare films that would get that 3-hour mark, up until the comic book movies. Comic book movies changed that in digital cinemas, because that was part of it too, was it costs a lot of money to make reels back in the day compared to now when you just digital to distribute it to theaters. Because we're talking a couple, tens of thousands of dollars per, print every time to do a movie compared to just sending it over the internet now. But yeah.
Insurance.
Yeah, but as far as me personally, I mean, I just love sprawling stories that take the time, but I expect that on like a TV show or a miniseries, like we brought up The Offer earlier, which is a great example of that, or I know Shogun was very popular more recently, or the Dune films for that matter. But now Andre and I, we were kind of upset at how, and I'm sure other people on the panel have very thoughts about it too, about how basically at this point, it's hard to fathom that Denny has used just as much time as the sci-fi versions have, and has only gotten about a third of the story in.
Yeah. No, Here's like the thing. I used to be of the opinion that I love 3-hour movies. It's fantastic. But now in the age of streaming and stuff like that, and this is something I felt really strongly after the last Avatar, which was just a chore to sit through because I felt I was binging a TV series. I think that in this day and age right now, if it's more than a little bit more than 2 hours, if it's like something that has to be closer to 3 hours, you're probably better off doing a miniseries. And then you may as well have it be 4 or 5 hours and do it properly. Like take, for instance, the Odyssey, which is like roughly 3 hours. Now, never mind the creative decision. Just forget about that for a moment. Just say you want to do the Odyssey right? I don't think you should do a 3-hour movie, because you now have the same running time as the Armand Assante 1997 miniseries. Now, that miniseries is cool because it gives you the Cliff Notes version of the story, and it does a very good job at capturing it to the letter. But it's very rushed. It still leaves a lot of stuff out. It's like rushing from one thing to the other, and it's full screen, and it's like TV budget, all of those things. But here you now basically have Nolan, and he's going to have to make some pretty substantial cuts just to allow things to breathe. You would have been better off having this be like a 5, 6, 7, 8 hour miniseries rather than a 3-hour movie. I think the case for 3-hour movies is starting to be worse and worse. Of course, there's some cases where you should have it, but those are fewer and fewer in the age of streaming.
No, and I swear I read an article where somebody had said something about it a while back too, because I know we'd talked about this subject a few times now. But there was like an average where they did like an average, and ever since the Marvel films have come into play, like the average film length has gone from like 1 hour and 45 minutes to 2 hours and 25 minutes now, or something like that, or 2:15 or something like that. Because all these superhero movies are 2 hours and 25 minutes, 2 hours and 35. Get into the Avenger films. Like, people got to remember, the last two Avenger films, Infinity War and Endgame, were both almost 3 hours apiece. Like, that's, what world do we live in where we should have a movie the Batman was where it really got to me. Like, look, I can say let's not talk about whether or not I like the movie or not. There is no justifiable fucking reason in the world that a Batman movie should be 3 fucking hours long. It could be the most epic goddamn Batman movie in the world. There's no reason, zero, none whatsoever. The fact that Warner Brothers let that go out at 3 hours is beyond me, because they cost themselves $1 billion more so by letting that movie go out at 3 hours than anything, because they cut out how many showtimes in a day because of that.
Oh gosh. The Terminator.
At that point, they needed to add to the story and make it a 4 or 5 hour miniseries,
or make it 2 parts.
So, in my opinion, a 3 hour movie as opposed to a miniseries, Chato, what justifies it is the story. The story.
Well,
that's it. And the breadth of the storytelling, from characters.
It also allows you to
to
put some air in it.
Thank you. Yeah. And some people do it really well, and some people don't. Right? That's why the Batman, that's why Tom hated the Batman, because it's like, I totally agree.
But you give Scorsese 2.5 hours, I'm cool with that, right? Yeah.
Because
even Tarantino's got a couple that
some filmmakers know how to do it.
Yeah, some do.
So that's my short answer.
Although I hear what you're saying, wouldn't it have been a prestigious event if Nolan had done a 5-part Apple series of the Odyssey, right? And just split it into 5 acts or something like that.
Yeah, that would have been better.
I think it might have been.
I think it's slumming for him. He would consider that as slumming.
Yeah, that's the problem with it. You're not wrong, Paul. But I even said the same thing about Michael. I was like, if anything, they would have been better off just doing it as a series. I know it wouldn't have been as big or whatever, but I mean, the movie, it's a great film, but there's so much missing from the movie that it feels like,
yeah.
Like I said, you could do a trilogy or better with all these. And I know we're going to get at least one more, but man, I mean, there's so many of these things that I think you're kind of missing the boat on, or the opportunity is there in front of your face.
Well, they both serve different purposes. You go to a movie, it's an event. You get to disappear for 2 hours, hopefully into your head, and then you leave, and then you talk about it. And then a TV version of that is an entirely different experience. Both can exist within the same universe. Yeah.
And, you're not wrong about the Batman. It was only 12 minutes longer than Dark Knight Rises. But The Dark Knight Rises was a sequel to a film already, and it was an exception to the rule. Like that, when The Dark Knight Rises came out, I believe that was the longest comic book movie by a long shot when that came out. By the time you go 5 more years into the future, and we're getting into the Marvel universe, the first phase of Marvel is all under 2 hours long, pretty much. Then you get into the second and third phases is when it really starts to stretch and stretch and stretch. And I blame Pixar as a part of this too. And I brought this up before too, because I've called it the Pixar effect. Because if you notice, kids' movies also had the same problem. Back when my kid was first getting into movies, or old enough to watch movies, we jumped from kids' movies that were like 75 to 80 minutes long on average, well under 90 minutes, to all of a sudden you got movies like Cars and Toy Story that are 2 hours fucking long. And I remember sitting with my nephew and my son in Cars going, when is this movie going to be over? Because they were starting to get antsy. It's not that they were disliking the movie, but it's like, why is a kid's movie 2 hours? And once you add in all the previews and all that shit into it, a kid does not want to sit still for that long, right? That's why Disney movies were always really well timed at anywhere between 67 to 80 minutes tops, right? Like Dumbo clocks in at like 67 minutes. Robin Hood clocks in at like 62 or 3 minutes. Like it's barely over an hour. Like what happened to these kind of Disney films where it was like, you know, you get in, you get out. The kids had a good time because it wasn't too long, wasn't too much to overstimulation and stuff like that.
Dumbo, when it came out, was like 64 minutes.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
And I also think that the sprawling, like the long movies were like saved for like Gone with the Wind, Dances with
That's what I meant. Yeah, Lord of the Rings or something
Lord
that had some kind of prestige behind it. Yeah.
And now everyone's doing it.
That's what I mean. It's not special anymore, right?
You don't have to.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
not special.
Lawrence of Arabia had a pee break in the middle of it.
Well, that's the other thing that bothers me too, Paul, is the older I get, the less I have the patience for your film. Like, it's like, I got to pee at some point, you know? So
yeah,
you better make either a good spot for it or you better cut this thing down, you know? And that maybe is why I felt Michael was too short, is because I'm so used to all these longer films where it feels like that movie was kind of shorthanded or whatever compared to the other ones. But
storytelling structure wise, the Indian films, they have it down because they have a intermission ending. That's a cliffhanger. Then you go to your intermission and you come back, and it's a short. And part 2 is always shorter than part 1, and kind of like theater when they do that. So that's a really good model. Plus, the concessions, everyone makes a couple more bucks.
Yeah. But I think at the end of the day, the main point I think we're all kind of dancing around or pointing directly at is that it all depends on the subject matter and what it requires. But the problem is we've gotten to a point where, like I said, when everything's 2.5 hours, 3 hours long, then nothing is special anymore, right? So
Die Hard.
And also, as you mentioned, the intermission, whenever something was that special, there was an intermission in theaters. The audience didn't sit 3.5, 4 hours in one setting. Now, audiences actually are expected to sit 3.5 hours in one setting.
And I can't believe the theaters let the intermission go, because that was part of their business model, right? Because most people, once the movie started, they didn't want to get up 20 times to go get some stuff from the concession stands and stuff like that. That's why they had the intermission, is so people would go out and not just stretch their legs and piss, but so they'd actually go out and buy more stuff. But anyhow, you were going to say something else, Paul.
No, I'm fine. Yeah, these days, having the intermission is more and more important.
They could show all those commercials during the intermission instead of before the film.
They need to show the commercials while you're standing at the urinal on the LCD screen above it.
See, I can't believe they haven't gotten to that point yet. But
See, that would save a bunch of time. I mean, I did go to the theater the other day, and there was one urinal that said out of order amongst a whole bunch of them. And I never did get to the movie because I was trying to figure out what order it needed to be in. That is a preview of my stand-up routine.
Oh, Lord, no wonder you're not doing it anymore.
Hey, wait a second.
Flying Blind on a Rocket Cycle has been a member for 21 months. Thank you for that. And he says, hail panel and chat. Well, hail to you, Flying Blind. And we got Monkey, Willie the Monkey King, hailing in from New Zealand with 99 cents. How you doing, my friend? And he's also a mod of ours, of course, and a longtime listener. And we also have Grimzilla here, who says, digital sales outnumber physical 10-1. We did this to ourselves. Oh, no, you're not. You're totally right. Right. Only now do players realize what they did. No one to blame but ourselves. And at the end of the day, that is true. That is very true, Grimzilla. But I mean, the cautionary tales are there. So, like, just pay attention and heed them. Yeah.
And also for the people who are, this is something I always like to point out for those who complain about, like, where's the originality in Hollywood? There's no originality. Everything just remixed. Dude, that actually is very much so the audience's fault, because the audience are the ones that flock to anything branded, and more often than not sit out original content, because every single week there's released a bunch of original stuff that no one ever sees, like in the larger scheme of things, right? But they're all excited for the next branded iteration of something we've seen like 30 times before. That's on the audience. They're the ones that actually vote for this with their dollars. So there's plenty blame to go around there, and the audience absolutely have their share as well.
Indeed. But But yeah, so it's up to us to take back control. And that's kind of what the whole thing with the video gaming is about too. And Bass Player 2011, if he says, with $19.99, thank you very much. That's BattleNet. Any game in your Steam library can be downloaded and played, even if it's no longer available for purchase. Also, PC emulation, so you can tell Sony to pound sand. Yeah, and I think a lot of people are. And I mean, Sony's an evil corporation. We've known this forever.
Nintendo is evil.
All you ever had to do was listen to like fucking Mariah Carey and Celine Dion and Michael Jackson. And you want to know who did that to Britney Spears? Sony. Sony's who did that to Britney Spears. So yeah, and they are a horrible fucking company. And ever since the head of the Japanese division died like 10, 15 years ago or whatever it was, the whole company has just been, or actually it's been longer than that now. It's been shit.
Well, don't confuse the music division from the game division.
Oh, no, I know, but they're all still conglomerated under the same company.
They're a conglomerate.
Yeah,
that's it.
But the different divisions are responsible for different atrocities, let's say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, yeah, if you ever wonder who drove Britney Spears crazy, yeah, it was that motherfucker who just died, actually, Clive Davis or whatever. You really want to get into that. But yeah,
well,
anyway.
I mean, the Germans had so many profit centers during World War II, so.
Yeah, but yeah, no, I know emulation's been huge with gamers, and I mean, I've dabbled in a little bit myself.
I know Paul big in Nintendo because Nintendo won't release some of its classic old games, and so Nintendo emulation, and Nintendo is mad. But you know, my son has this idea that if you no longer sell the game, then you should make it available for people who want to play it.
Yeah, well, Paulie has to run real quick, so we're gonna let him have an out here.
I want to make sure I was hanging out the first hour, so it was awesome. Thank you guys. See you guys soon, and I'll be live in a little while. Yeah, have fun, everybody.
When are you seeing the greatest movie of all time?
I don't know. My schedule is really, really tough, so
it's hard to block
maybe
off that
Sunday, if not during the week next week.
Okay,
big commitment.
But we had our writers. This is why I got to go. All right, talk to you guys later.
Bye. See you.
God bless.
Indeed. Yeah, and speaking of that, Six had just sent me that the critics score for the Odyssey is sitting at 98%.
No way.
Wow.
What?
Way. Makes me wonder how big of a discrepancy there's going to be between that and the audience score.
Yeah, I look forward to seeing how that's going to be like a week from now.
Yeah.
And then never mind a week, Sunday.
Right. And then Willie the Monkey King sends in another $8.99 to say, greetings from New Zealand. The thing is, everything digital should be realized from purchase that you don't own. Also, that adage justifying piracy is dumb. I get what you're saying, but at the same time, I understand why people feel that way. And here's the problem we have with that is, yeah, people should be smart enough to know that by now, but they're not. And when people pay money for something, they think they own it.
Yep.
Right. Like, and it doesn't help when it says it. And this is kind of what got, like, I think Amazon and all those guys in trouble when it says right there, buy. Right.
Yeah.
That's the problem. See, and look, at the end of the day, are we going to be able to do much about it? No, but it's progress. It's what happens. But
you should be aware, because as long as everyone is aware of what they're doing, they can vote to make their situation a little bit better. Because as we just said, the people are responsible for this to a very large extent. But that is because they just went with, oh, this is simple, without thinking any further of what does this actually mean, that we are on board with this and we are actually supporting it. And here's the thing, if you as an audience don't support it, they can't really force it upon you. Look at 3D. They tried to force that upon you. When's the last time you saw 3D TV? Or 48 frames per second, which they did an experiment with the Hobbit movies. That disappeared real freaking fast now, didn't it? So you as an audience, you do have some power, but you just have to be aware of it and use it accordingly.
I just think it's interesting how rental fees have now we don't have to go to Blockbuster anymore, but $19.99 to rent a new movie, or as some guy on social media said, or you can pay $24.99 to have a prolonged rental, because it's sort of like you don't really own it after that, right? It's like you can rent it indefinitely for $25, or you can rent it for 2 nights for $20.
They should call it LTL, like Andre has coined it, basically long-term lease.
Yeah. But they're not going to do that unless they're forced to, right?
Nope.
And the justification of piracy isn't really a justification. It's sort of like, though, when people do trick or treat and they don't want to answer the door, so they're just going to leave a big bowl of candy, and then they set up their Ring camera and they see the little hoodlums that come and just basically dump the whole bowl in their bag and run off. Well, that's wrong that the child did that, yes, but should not be unexpected, right? That's going to be the attitude. Well, there it is. And as far as piracy itself goes, I had somebody one time say to me, it's one thing to steal a product like shoplifting or steal somebody's car. But if you had a device where you could aim it at that person's car and go, blink, I just made myself a copy of that car over there. So that's mine now. And the person that I copied can keep their car. I haven't removed anything from their inventory of goods. It really gets, it can kind of confuse the mind when you start thinking about downloading something that maybe you weren't authorized to download, but it's really just a copy of something out there. It's weird.
And I have this, here's where I kind of come in this with the angle of, is it really piracy or is it preservation?
That's another thing.
Because at the end of the day, a lot of this stuff, most of these people actually own a version of it, right? Like I have the unaltered versions of Star Wars, and there's nothing anybody can do about it. I legally can own those.
Yeah.
Because not only do I have the newer Blu-rays and 4K versions, I also have the old VHS versions. So legally, by law, I have the right to be able to, technically, we should be able to have access to these files freely if we own them already. But you know, they're not going to allow that. Fuck that.
No. But like the Army's despecialized version of the Star Wars movies,
I have I have actual scans from 35 millimeter prints.
And I didn't pay for those. I'm just authorized to have them because I own the original.
No, I have the Harmy ones, but I actually have the scans that they've been doing now.
Yeah, nice. Those are nice.
Yeah. It's quite a world of difference, but we're finally supposed to be getting them.
Disney calling the Harmy people up saying, hey man, can you guys get us a copy of that? We need to.
Well, they don't have to. That's the beauty of next year, is that we're supposed to be getting the unaltered version in theaters, because as many have said all this time, it does exist. It has to exist. Where is it? And I know some people just don't understand how negatives work and all that kind of stuff, because I know there was a few people in our own sphere that I got into it with when that version was found that they showed at the BFI. I don't know why some people got it in their head that was the only version that was about. It's like, no, that's not how film works. And then people buy into this whole thing when George Lucas said, oh, the original's destroyed. No, that is not destroyed. The color was fading, but it's not that big of a deal, because as most people who worked on the special edition pointed out, George had to scan the negative to do the special edition.
Sure he did. Of course he did.
So this idea that it doesn't exist, he's just lying to you. It exists. It does exist. And many directors have seen the unaltered cut because they've screened it at Disney. It does exist.
So it's 121 minutes, kids. So.
Yes, only 121 minutes long, and it does not say episode 4 in front of it either.
That's right.
But yeah, so like I said, Willie, I guess the question is, when does it become piracy compared to actual preservation, right? Because I mean, look at the Doctor Who episodes as a great example. Not many people had access to any kind of tape recording equipment back then. You know, but had they, I think it would have been the fans that, and they still are to this day, keeping that show alive, because every once in a while, you know, a treasure trove of episodes is uncovered because somebody happened to have like a U-matic system or something back in the day, and they just happened to tape Doctor Who.
That's the irony. We wouldn't have the very first Isaac Asimov adaptations are also lost media, because they were made by the BBC and they were shown once and then they deleted it. If VHS recorders existed at the time so people could pirate it, they would still exist to this day.
And actually, technically, that's where the law came in, that over the air, and that affected not just movies but music and everything else, to where technically things over the air, you can't copyright a live type of situation. So but like a TV show and a movie is a different story, but yeah. But anyway, we got to keep moving along here. We got bass player 2011 Iffy again, who says CDs are a digital format. The only problem you run into with secondhand CDs is the loudness war era. Yeah, well, this is look, and I know CDs get the worst of this, but this is true of every single format, whether it's movies, music, alone. It doesn't matter. It all has to do with how was it mastered originally. If it was mastered like shit, they're all going to look and sound like shit. Right? If the original master is brilliant and sounds amazing, then they're all going to sound amazing. Right? It's just the way it goes. It look amazing. It's just the way it goes. And with digital, that's the beauty of it, is you make one that's perfect, and then from there on out, you can just make copies of that same one over and over and over and over and over and over, and over again. So yeah, it's just a matter of because what he's talking about with the loudness wars was and this goes all the way back to the records in the 50s and 60s, right? Because people forget this. Because I love getting into arguments with people who love like talking about, I only listen to like the Beatles in mono and shit. It's like, that's great, and I can understand the Beatles. But do you realize that 90% of other music, because then they'll buy all their other stuff in mono too. And it's like, so you're gonna buy that scratchy, compressed to shit fucking version of a song because that version was mixed so people who had those little tinny fucking speakers could listen to them. That's what that was made for the little teeny boppers in their room. All those 45 singles that are mono from back in the day. Yeah, all they are is the super compressed version. They're the equivalent of all the 2000 CDs. Yep. Because they were made to where they could sound good on shitty equipment. Like, that was what it was made for. So people are like just so into the mono recordings. I'm like, you do realize that people went in and the stereo recordings were usually made for the more prestigious version of the release, right? For the versions for the upper class people who had the hi-fi systems and stuff like that. It's like, go listen to classic Motown. Listen to the mono version compared to the stereo version. You'll never listen to the mono version again when it comes to shit like that. Now, the Beatles, like I said, is an exception to the rule because the people here were at first, they got whatever that was sent over to them, and then they turned around and altered it from there. So you didn't even have the masters to work from in that case. So there was all kinds of crazy shit going on. But
I have the Virgin vinyl collection of all the master tapes of the Beatles, all of them, all the British releases in order. The American releases were quite a bit different. They even deleted songs from one album, renamed albums.
Yep.
The mono mixes were from a stereo original. So I don't know if people know about this collection, but they literally took the tapes that they made the records from and directly half-speed mastered them onto vinyl and then pressed a very, very limited run. They sound absolutely insane, especially the first few albums. You can literally hear them breathing between lines and picks scraping on strings a little bit more as they're playing it. It's very much like you're in the studio. Of course, back then they had 4 tracks, right? I mean, so a lot of the stuff was done live per se in the studio.
And they would bounce the tracks down.
Bounce tracks. Now, so those monos that everyone are freaking out about are just mixed down versions of what I've got.
Yep. Yeah, I've told people this, and I've gotten into it with even people in our community about it. It's like, no, you guys don't understand that when you bitch about the loudness wars and the compression wars, that's exactly what a lot of those mono records were back though.
Yeah.
They were made for teenagers to listen to in their rooms on their little scratchy record players.
Yep. And even AM radio, which was mono.
Yes. Yeah. Right. That too. Yeah. Yep. And so it'd be louder than the last song. That was the other thing too.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So what you're looking for is sound pressure level.
Yep.
That's what created the loudness, because they just everything. But it's magical listening to those albums. They're especially the older ones, which were less produced.
Right. And I get it. And a lot of the early stereo recordings, they were kind of hard panned because they didn't quite have the equipment yet.
Yeah.
So some of that stuff is kind of harsh to listen to. Don't get me wrong. But like I said, you get into like, the Spectre era and the Motown sound and the wall of sound and stuff that came in later, like when they started to really understand how they could utilize two speaker systems. Like you get into the 70s and 80s, and those are some amazing sound mixes, and that's why they sounded so good, because you had these engineers who were taking chances and trying new things. And I mean, like we take for granted a lot of the stuff that we have now just on our home computer, right? Like we can add reverb and echo chamber and all that kind of stuff. You guys realize that it's called an echo chamber because they literally have like a speaker in the basement with a microphone set up to where that's how they would capture the acoustics down there to get reverb, right? Like they didn't have, or they'd have like a fuzz box or something like that. They had different equipment and other things they had to do to make these sounds that all you got to do is click one button now, and like Paul was saying, like the Beatles were so inventive because they're like, oh, we only got 4 tracks. What do we do with that? They would literally record 3 tracks, bounce that down to a track, and then they'd gain 3 more tracks back, and then they'd bounce that down to another track, and then they're down to 2 tracks, and it's like that's how it all worked, and they just keep going. But at the end of the day, what you're doing then is there's no ability to go back and remix those the way they were before until AI now.
I think Paul had one shot to insert his part in A Day in the Life. I think it was Day in the Life where he had one shot. George Martin said, do you think you need 22 seconds to fill? Can you punch in, punch out exactly? Because we can't do it again, or we're going to ruin John Lennon's part afterward.
Right.
And he did it in one take.
And I know some of those, they said they'd run them so many times the tape would start getting so thin you could see through the tape.
Well, there's that too.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah.
Yeah. But anyhow, that's you definitely got your $4.99 worth there this morning. And then Pilgrim Media says with $2, all my pirate MP3 320 kilobyte is good quality. Yeah, for most people, for the most part, 320 kilobyte MP3s are gonna sound good enough and better than most other options. Right. I'm not going to knock it. In most cases, I like having the ability to throw a bunch of MP3s onto either a thumb drive or what have you. And if I know I'm going to be in a situation,
you can get Tidal if you want a higher quality, but I find the Apple lossless extraordinarily good. So
yeah, and that's where I haven't tried Apple yet, but like I said, I just swear by Qobos because at least I get the ability to, if I buy something, then I can download it and do whatever I want with it. DCB Titan says, Andre, get a chance to watch Handsome Guys yet?
What?
I think you might have stepped away for a second.
Quite possible.
We'll come back around to that one. In the meantime, we've got a couple of Rumble rants while we're waiting for Andre to come back. We got One Punch fan who sent in 2 and says, rest in peace to the Angry Badger's dad, Papa Badger. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Sorry for his loss. And then One Punch fan says, second attempt, sing it please, Andre. He's not going to sing it, so I'll sing it as Andre. Save Stargate.
Save
that's about the most
Stargate.
I'd say that's about the most you get out of Andre with that one. But yeah, hopefully he'll be back any second. He didn't even say be right back.
No, he did. He posted.
Did he?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he did. Okay,
he did. He left a note.
Yeah.
He left a sticky note.
So we'll get back to that one, DCB Titan, when he gets back here, hopefully in any moment now. But yeah, the Odyssey, as I pointed out, it's getting a 98% from the critics, but it'll be interesting to see in the next 48 hours how the audience responds to this film. Because unlike other woke films, I think it's safe to say that Nolan has a bit of a following, and I think a lot of people are taking offense to the fact that people are
taking offense.
Yeah, you're right. That's the best way to put it, Paul. You're not wrong. Like, I mean, that's I've never seen so many people come out and defend a film they haven't seen from people that haven't seen a film.
Right. I mean, there are an awful lot of people who have claimed that they're really wanting the film to fail, which I'm not a big fan of. I'm going to watch it tomorrow. They're available in the theaters
tomorrow, I think.
And pretty much every single seat is available. No difficulty booking myself in there. A lot of the theater has been taken over by it. And then I checked the seating for Friday Saturday and Sunday, and there is no lacking seats.
Well, Chris, I think you guys did a story where you guys had pointed out that the only screenings that are selling out are the 70 millimeter IMAX screenings, but everything else is not selling. And in fact, normal screenings aren't selling hardly at all, from what I've noticed.
Yeah, it's really strange. Not at all. It's probably a bit of a stretch, but
comparatively less.
Right. So we talked about this, I think, a little bit on Monday, that there's very few 70 millimeter 15 perf IMAX theaters in the US, and those are sold out. So you do have your cinephiles that are like, oh my gosh, this was recorded and with all IMAX cameras, every scene. And if you guys, Tom, I know you know, you probably do too, Paul, but for the benefit of the audience that doesn't know, I think you can only shoot for 3 minutes at a time with these IMAX cameras. They're very loud. They're very big.
Yeah,
I think they extended the time, but yeah, you're not wrong. Like,
it's short. Yeah.
So the times,
I think they got it. I think they extended the time a little bit, and they've managed to get the cameras a lot smaller and the sound problem, but it's still,
there were still some complaints from the cast on this.
Yeah, it's still a cumbersome problem.
Yeah. Machine, right, that they're dealing with. And so, but there are people that, knowing that that's what it is, just kind of like back to the very discussion of us going back to the master reels or whatever, like there are listening parties for albums. And I think the people that are buying the tickets for these 70 millimeter IMAX cinemas are those kinds of, you know, dare I say, fanatics that have to see it.
And it's going to be special. And yes, it's 3 minutes of footage at a time, but it's not the footage issue. It's the fact that it's a wind up camera. They gotta, like, it's spring loaded. They gotta wind it like the old Canons from the 1960s, the Super 8. I got one, you know. That's a lot of winding. And apparently the sound deadening box that the camera is in is quite huge.
It's like a blimp. And there have been stories about these kind of big noisy cameras before IMAX even came along, back in the era of Hollywood. So it's an interesting take. Oh wait, should we go ahead and get on Andre Handsome Guys?
We'll get back to that real quick.
Okay. So there are these 25 to 30. I don't have an exact cinemas that are sold out, and they're sold out for a few weeks because even though they are opening it up to unusual hours like early morning, and
but these were the same tickets that went on sale like almost a year ago.
Exactly. Yeah. So they've been sold to the people who, and, you know, I'm sure IMAX has a list of these people that, you know, they're marketing this to. So this has been sort of a niche marketing to get these people to sell these, buy these tickets, and they're doing it. And some are traveling all around to see it multiple times or whatever.
Yeah. There was that one guy who's got like the Guinness record for seeing them however many IMAX movies, and they're actually bringing him over to America or some shit like that, and doing some big story about it.
So we dug around and did, like, we looked at Atlanta, like the biggest IMAX in Atlanta. We looked at Nashville, Tennessee, and we looked at large metropolitan cities to see, and plus where I am, I'm in Chattanooga. We've got we've got a couple of IMAX theaters here actually, and neither of them are the 70 millimeter. And there are tickets ample, not just front row, not just back row. I mean, about, you know, I would say it depends on the cinema, right? I mean, the Alamo Drafthouse is sold out, I'm sure, right? But there are 30%, 60%, sometimes as much as what looks like 85 to maybe even 90% of the seats are not filled. And that includes both Thursday night previews and Friday night.
Well, Nolan has this like film snobbish quality to him, and that's what I think is going to hurt the film too. We started seeing that with Tenet, and again, we can't really say how Oppenheimer would have done had it not had Barbie to help bolster it.
I don't think this is going to do Oppenheimer numbers. I don't even think it. I think it may struggle to reach Oppenheimer opening weekend numbers.
I have a weird feeling. Like, here's the thing: is because you had, you know, Alan and Chris's reaction to it.
Oh yeah.
They even put a lot of the woke crap aside. The problem I'm noticing is that Alan specifically pointed out the same problems that we have with every single Nolan film. It's boring. It's too long. Can't fucking understand anything.
And it's pretentious. Let's not forget about that.
And pretentious.
Sure. But we also did a little digging, because whenever we've posted anything, like I did this whole piece on what the marketing versus the reality of this thing, because now we're hearing, you know, that Lupita and Elliot are barely in it, right? I mean, they're in it for maybe 2 or 3 scenes, and you don't see them anymore. So anytime we posted something like that, we started getting comments like, why don't you go watch it before forming your opinions? It's the woke is only 5 minutes. Don't withhold this great movie. Don't miss out on this great movie all because of 5 minutes of wokeness. And you might say, hey, this is a great Caesar salad. Could you take out that one rat turd and I'll enjoy the rest of the salad? I mean, honestly, it was weird that we kept getting this reply guy. And then you go and you look, and there are accounts we discovered that you go to the timeline on X, and their most recent post or repost was from 2020, right? But you go into their replies tab, and it's nothing but Odyssey replies pushing back on any criticism. And it's been that steady beat every 10, 15 minutes incessantly with basically copy and paste stuff for days. I mean, we scroll down and you just keep scrolling and scrolling, and you've only gone 12 hours into their timeline. Who knows how far back it goes? And which leads me to believe that there are, I don't know who or why, but it almost feels, it doesn't feel organic, right? Like, who has that kind of time? And why are these people so not voluminous in their pushback, but the zeal alone to be defending a movie you haven't seen either? So the very fact that someone might say, I don't like the way that movie looks, or, oh, it didn't sell out every IMAX theater in the land. And you're telling me, you're responding, oh, it's only 5 minutes of woke. It's not even congruent to what the criticism was. You're just trying to sell me on seeing a movie that you haven't seen yet. Why are you doing this? Right.
Well, they can't afford it, Chris.
Oh,
that's the difference. See,
I got it.
So the people who haven't seen it, who are complaining about us not seeing it yet, will never see it because they can't afford to. So, I mean, that's the irony.
So they're mad at us because they know we could afford it, and we're not appreciating what's been offered to us.
Correct. That's exactly right.
I think they're more likely to be mad at us because we have the ability to actually leave the computer, whereas their programs and they're stuck right there.
Maybe
yeah, I'm going to see it tomorrow.
Well,
yeah, I'll see it as soon as I
minutes of woke in it, Paul. You'll be fine.
Yeah. You just need to remember to like be in awe of Elliot Page, who is the greatest warrior ever. Greater even.
Don't spoil it for me.
Oh, fine. I won't spoil anything.
Someone has posited that the Academy is going to troll even further by nominating, because one thing that came up while we were doing this research, because it's been kind of fascinating, right? All this research about a movie we haven't even seen yet. There are a lot of Academy voters on this production. A lot, particularly in the cast.
Well, of course. Why leave anything to chance?
That's right.
Why leave anything to chance?
That's right. That's right. So very, very shrewd of Mr. Nolan. And there was a blind item. I don't know if you guys caught this, but there was a blind, the gossip rags that come up.
Other than the Cyclops?
No, that a top tier blockbuster director has done some stunt casting, knows it's going to be controversial, is only doing it for, and this was posted back in mid-May. This is before we even knew some of these casting choices, that this director only hopes that it won't be Snow Whited. That's all. So obviously Nolan and his team are very savvy and shrewd, and they may be playing a lot of people who are opposed to this movie like a fiddle, and it might be fascinating to watch. I hope you enjoy the movie this weekend, Paul.
Yeah. Well, I hope I enjoy it too. I don't want to spend, I honestly don't want to spend that much time and that much money on something that I'm not going to like. And as you know, I keep saying I'm not a official reviewer channel, but I'll review the ones that I see, and I go to the ones that I'm interested in seeing. I don't do homework. This is not a homework channel.
Than many of the people who are paid specifically to review movies. Go figure.
Yeah, I pay for it myself, but it's deductible.
Yes.
Yeah, well, exactly. But still, that's part of the reason why we trust you. You pay yourself.
That's
You
right.
have no one.
Always pay my way. But I mean, if
Well, it's
some studio
deductible for
wants to
the,
suck up and
studio.
send me a gift basket, I'll take it.
I was going to say it's deductible for the studios to pay
True.
for reviews. So
No, that's exactly right. So, anyways, this is again, this movie has some very different aspects to it from the stuff that Marvel and Disney and even DC have recently released. It in some ways, it's kind of like a superhero movie, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, it's weird. We're not talking about a redoing of Harold and Maude, which would be interesting. I love that movie. That was
who would you cast for that?
Harold and Maude. That's a good one. I mean, those were two just fantastic.
Elliot Page and Whoopi Goldberg.
There you go. Done. There you go. Yeah, Elliot Page. There you go.
Whoopi Goldberg.
Yeah,
I saw some photos of Elliot Page.
You can't do the casting better than that.
I saw, a few days ago we saw Elliot Page kind of not really shadow boxing, but might as well have been. Now I'm seeing the photos of Elliot with his girlfriend out on the red carpet, and she's an attractive.
I'm not convinced that woman was always a woman either.
Oh, really? Okay. Well, maybe I spoke too soon.
I don't know. I don't have nothing to go on. I'm just looking at him going, why is Elliot the more femmy looking of the two here?
Well, it just looked like a pair of lesbians to me, so I didn't know what else to think of it. So,
well, in the end, that's probably what it is. But
no pun intended. I think too that there are some gripes that I think are legitimate about this picture, and mainly that is the double standard of the representation, right? You do,
but that's our problem. The audience might.
And I was going to say it's Greek. It's the Greek.
No, and there's that too. I mean, we've talked about the fact that nationality doesn't count in the race wars.
Mm.
That the Finns are an entirely different group of people than the Greeks, entirely different group from the Serbs, but that does not count because they're all kind of white.
Oh, because the melanin. I got it.
Yeah, there is only one criteria, and that is the melanin, and even Asian doesn't count. How many Asians are in this movie? I mean, I'll Well,
it is weird because like if you put everyone on like a color chart, right?
Right.
You might have Swedes, Finnish, and so on one end, and then you might have Saharan African on the other end.
Right.
And so as you get closer, you'll get into Asians, and you'll even get into Latino and Mexican, etc. But I'm seeing that in some states in the U.S., they are labeling those as white.
Yeah,
and I found out why.
Why?
Because they want to keep the ethnic crime rates down, and where they're being labeled as white. It's true. North Carolina does it. You'd be shocked at the mugshots of all these guys from Mexico that are called white criminals. Yeah,
white. I see.
This does sound plausible. Yeah,
that is hilarious.
Yeah.
Oh my
God. But we know this, right? I mean, they even made a joke of this in Peacemaker season 1, very first episode. How like Peacemaker, like, in order not to be Rossicist, he needs to pay closer attention to white people because he's killing too many black and brown people. And he's like, well, it's not his fault.
Yeah.
The color of the criminals, but fine. Yeah. He'll pay extra attention to white people, try to catch more of those. But you have like the same thing in crime stats and statistics all over Europe. Like they're pretty darn clear, without going just into too much of a detour right there. So,
and because Hollywood is Hollywood, I'm convinced that the racial mix is so skewed only because one group has got a bigger lobby than the other.
Mm.
you know, I talked about it with Paulie a long time ago. The Latino model lobby is far smaller than the Black lobby, which is even smaller than the Asian lobby. So it really is, you know, no different. It's a business. It's a business, and it's power, and whoever has influence, that's what cuts it. I mean, to me, from a fairness point of view, if you want to be totally fair, I believe that every script should be put into a special system that will then average out the different ethnic groups within America. And once you've reached the statistical numbers of that group in America in that one specific calendar year, then any other movies after that does not have to adhere to it at all. So I mean, you can't have a preponderance of any one group that does not match the ethnic balance within the country. That's the way to do it, I think, is that rather than on a movie by movie basis, you hand your script in, you do your casting, and then once you hit your quotas, then nothing else matters after that. That's my plan.
Well, then there would be a whole hell of a lot of less queer stuff and black people in movies, let's say, because those
you're
are
right.
the two single most overrepresented.
So if you're overrepresented,
let's we have a couple of more super chats here to go through before we are starting to lose panelists. The DCV Titan wonders for $2 million. Andre, get a chance to watch Handsome Guys yet? Not yet, but I have acquired it. I've acquired it. So I'm just looking for, and I look forward to seeing it. Now, for those that do not know what that is, Handsome Guys is a Korean movie. Not only that, it is something as rare as a Korean remake of an American movie, because sometimes that happens too, that American movies get remade elsewhere if they are really tremendously cool. And this is a remake of a really tremendously cool American movie that deserves getting remakes other places. And in the localization, I'm very curious to see what the Koreans have made out of Tucker and Dale versus Evil. Because that's what Handsome Guys is. That's the Korean remake of that.
I thought that he was referring to this panel.
Absolutely.
So hit that like and subscribe button for more jokes like these.
Indeed. So yeah, you know what I also saw the other day? I may do a video on it. I saw the previous Odyssey adaptation, simply called The Return, with Ralph Fiennes as Odysseus. Came out
yes,
2 years ago.
Wow.
I never saw it, but I've seen clips of it.
I haven't even thought of that in a while. Yeah. How was it?
Yeah. Well, it depends on how you choose to look at it. Because from one perspective, it's the last Jedi of the Odyssey. Because it's Odysseus as a really broken down, beaten man.
Yeah.
But at the same time, remember that King Arthur movie from 2004, 2005, thereabouts, where the approach was, okay, what we are doing right here is that we are going to say, look, here is our interpretation of the real events that inspired the Arthurian legend, right? And they did like something similar with the movie Troy. Like, here is our version of the real events that inspired the poem. This, in a sense, would be a similar take, where you have where this like the filmmaker's take of the real story that inspired the Odyssey. And from that perspective, it actually worked really, really well. And when you know the poem and you basically consider, okay, fine, so this is then the story that led to the poem later on. From that perspective, I actually really appreciated the movie. I thought it was a pretty great little film, actually.
Interesting.
Very interesting. Yeah, so basically here because you don't really get to because it's the same basic story. Like he's the king of Ithaca, and he spent 10 years at the siege of Troy. And then he was missing for 10 years after that, before he washes up on the shore of Ithaca. What the hell did he do in the meantime? And this is a very lo-fi movie. There's no witches here. There's no cyclops. There's no sea monsters. This is the distant past of our world. So then it's like, why would he say later on that he fought all of these things? How would that story transpire? So yeah, I actually highly recommend it. I may do like a more full video review of it at some point.
I think those were just excuses to his wife.
Yeah, you nailed it. You nailed it in one. That's exactly what they were. Because the story really is about cheating. It's about a wayward partner coming back after an affair. And we're basically told, no, he spent years with some woman on another island.
That's right. But there were alive skeletons attacking me, and this guy with one eye.
And the movie kind of like ends with the wife like now when all the suitors are dead, and that happens pretty much exactly as in the myth. And this was like really cool because like in the poem he's like dressed as this old broken down beggar, and then he transforms young and vital again.
No,
they
he
did
just throws
a
off the
great
cloak.
take on that, which, yeah, exactly. And the cloak is basically he just he just stands up straight, and you see, oh shit, he's not that weak and frail. He's actually really strong, and he had a warrior's body all the time. You just didn't see it because he was that depressed. But then he stopped hunching. That's what happened, right? And that's how that would turn into myth and legend. And the end is kind of like. It's like, yeah, okay, fine. Yeah, now when all the suitors are dead, now we need to talk about where you've been in the last 10 years. It's like, you don't really want to know. It's like, yeah, it's fine. Tell us. It'll be our past. And then we forget, and I forgive you, and we move on. I was like, yeah, okay. Now comes the excuses.
Interesting. Okay.
So it was actually a really interesting movie, but I can see why many people won't like it because it kind of like is Last Jedi of the Odyssey, but if there's one movie where you could do it and get away with it, it is this one. And then John Evan Bear, who's holding an amazing game controller right there, says for $2 Canadian $79. I hear the Odyssey might flop hard. Don't get your hopes up for that. I think it's going to do really, really big numbers on the opening weekend, and after that it's all about what does the globe think about it. Will the audience of the world like it enough that they're coming back in big numbers, same as they did for Oppenheimer, without having the Barbie effect to boost it? Will it be able to do that? You have like some tracking figures suggesting it was going to open bigger even than Oppenheimer. So I would, like, if you're hoping that it's going to flop, like, don't put too much of your identity into that just yet, because it may.
Yeah, there's too many people already trying to die on this hill. That's kind of
yeah. Like, there are many hills. There are many hills to die on. Do not choose this movie is going to flop as your hill for that, because you might regret it.
Did you guys see Deadline? Put the worldwide weekend box office for it at 200 million.
I can see that.
Yeah.
Honestly, to me, I think it could open closer to 300.
Well, they also had, just for the record, they had 130 million for Moana, and he mentions that in the opening paragraph. So it almost feels like
the actual number for Moana.
I know it did
43 US, but I don't remember what it was overseas. So I think it was just barely like 90 or 100 million.
Yeah, it should be barely 100. So they're up by 30%.
Here's the thing with Moana. I still maintain that, like, because I'm not seeing the negative reaction to the film that some of the people in our community have. And I feel like
there isn't
Moana is suffering completely from oversaturation. You've got Minions and Toy Story out there right now. Those are two properties that most kids, and they're properties that both kids would want to see, right? Like the problem with Moana is it leans very female, right? So the thing with Minions or Toy Story is if I'm an adult and I've got a group of kids, I'm giving them the choice between one of those two before I'm giving them the choice before Moana, because all the boys are going to reject Moana.
Yeah.
Right. So like, yeah,
Even
that's
with
where
The
I see
Rock.
that. Yeah. That's where I see this movie suffering. Right. And that's the other side of it too, is The Rock is not appealing to any of the female crowd here because A, he's not the man he used to be. And B, isn't he in this like bodysuit through the whole fucking movie? From what I've seen from some of the clips, like he's got this weird bodysuit on to make him kind of look more like the cartoon version. But again, like there's just certain things that like that I could see driving people away. But other than that, it's just, I think it's an oversaturation of children's films right now. The Nolan film, on the other hand, I think it's going to have a massive opening weekend. I think Andre's right, John. I wouldn't die on this hill because the fact that the IMAX 70 millimeter screenings are sold out and most of the IMAX screenings are pretty booked. Don't underestimate that. I mean, the overflow is going to end up going into other theaters.
Well, what competition does it have?
That's just it. It doesn't have anything until Spider-Man.
It has 1 week without competition, or 2 weeks, right?
No, is it 2 weeks? It might be 2 weeks. You might be right, because Spider-Man comes out the 29th.
Yeah,
isn't
but
it?
that's an adult. It's the Odyssey kind of skews as a literate.
It does, but
movie. It's not Spider-Man.
I'm curious. But here's the thing: is it's trying to play to that same audience.
Nolan.
Yeah, see, but at the same time, with the cast that Nolan has here, he is kind of trying to play it to that same audience. He's also playing into the modernity of it all, right? Like, and here's where I'm laughing at the motherfucker, because this is the same guy who told us, the guy who's writing the score, whoever it is, that he couldn't use certain instruments because they didn't have them back then, but yet he's got all his fucking characters talking in modern dialect. And that was another thing that Alan and Chris brought up as a problem here. Like, I wonder how it's gonna.
Well, that's just in the closing credits, right? There's no Greek chorus singing in iambic rap.
No. He's the first. The rapper is the first.
No. Paul, throughout the entire film, the dialogue is modern.
No, that I know.
Yeah,
that I know, but they're not doing rap lyrics.
No.
Not that we don't know. The Bard might do it in the film too, but we know he has an end credit song. Yeah,
spoilers. I think this movie's going to struggle to hit Oppenheimer numbers, but there's no way the numbers are going to be so bad opening weekend that anybody says.
Wait, if this is true, then Andre's theory was correct.
Well, he's the first. The rapper is the first one you hear in the movie, so he's got to be Homer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Apparently, I've heard this later. This is something that I heard from George Molo, who heard it from sources, that he doesn't have the name Homer. It's like the name of some other bard, but functionally he is meant to be kind of like the bard that inspired Homer or something.
Oh, so like Homeboy.
Simpson. Homer Boy.
Homeboy.
Kind of. Yeah.
Yeah. That's what
take a notepad with you, Paul, so that on Monday you can say everything we thought about the Odyssey was wrong.
You know what? Number one, I hate taking notepads to movies. Number two is I have done it.
Yeah.
When I was reviewing for the newspaper. On the other hand, I'm really bad at remembering every part of a movie when I leave, because it's funny. I won't watch reviews prior to going to a movie. And then once I publish my review and it goes to bed, then I'll watch other people's reviews and I'll go, oh, right. Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. I feel very stupid. Don't watch my reviews because they're always stupid.
All right, keep moving along here. We got Flying Blind on a Rocket Cycle, who says, it's funny how some people popped up out of nowhere for Nolan's latest. Then again, I'm just a line from a movie. Well, and this is where I was saying, like, the film snobs. See, there's a group of people, and they're gonna love this movie no matter what. They're gonna eat it up just because they're film snobs, and it's made partially for them. The other people it's made for is the younger audience, and we'll see how they react to it. But I don't know, like.
Some of the interesting things that we looked at when kind of, because it's really hard to tell how this is going to land, right? You don't know exactly. And the advanced ticket sales right now are about 30 to 40 million for the movie. That's advanced ticket sales. And that's as of, let me see what we have here this morning. And that's behind movies like Deadpool and Wolverine, which had advanced ticket sales of 50.
Well,
Wicked for Good, which had about 40.
I wouldn't be surprised if we start hearing after Spider-Man opens up that there's a bunch of screens that the Odyssey has that end up flipping for Spider-Man.
It wouldn't surprise me either. I think what's going to happen is you do have a front load of, we discussed it near the beginning of the show, of these cinephiles that have to see it on the 70 millimeter, right?
Yep.
But the cinema owners, the theater owners, need all the theaters to be selling tickets, not just the 25 or 30 IMAX.
See, and that's where I'm not as bullish as everybody on like how much it's going to make necessarily, because I'm seeing that pattern here, Chris, and you were one of the first people to point it out with like, these certain screenings are selling out, but nothing else is really selling out.
Mm-hmm.
So what are these theaters going to do when they've got 4 or 5 screenings that aren't selling but 2-3 tickets a piece, but they're out selling out? IMAX is great, but you're wasting theater space on movies that aren't on a movie that isn't selling any other tickets.
This could be a bit of a challenge. I mean, it's maybe a good challenge to have for them, but it could be a challenge, and
it'll be interesting to see how it pans out.
I don't think it's going to hit Oppenheimer numbers. I'll go on the record there. Yeah.
No, the only thing the only chance it had is just because of the cast, but I think the cast is part of the problem.
They have
Andre
that way,
and everybody have pointed it out, and it's not even just Lupita or Elliot as far as that goes. It's everybody across the board that's in this movie. It's
not
completely
John Leguizamo. Come on, not Charlize Theron.
They're almost all miscast.
You know what? I agree. Not John Leguizamo, because all the others are such a huge problem that he kind of pales by comparison.
In a way, you're not wrong.
Not John Leguizamo. I will grant you that one.
And honestly, even with his Latin background, I guess he might have at least somewhat closer genetics to some in this cast.
Yeah.
Let's be real about that. Like, I mean, you could probably finagle it somewhere in there. But like, it just, to me, this whole thing feels like
what's going to happen is they're going to have things they can say, even if it doesn't do Oppenheimer numbers. What you're going to hear is Matt Damon's biggest film of all time, because his biggest movie is The Martian, like in the 600 range, right?
Right.
So this will be the biggest Matt Damon movie.
That's a good point.
This will be the biggest John Leguizamo movie of all time.
It'll probably be Nolan's biggest opening.
Yeah, right. Yes, there you go. John Leguizamo's biggest opening. Yeah, I love it.
I mean Nolan's biggest. They'll probably ride on that too, right? Like it'll probably it'll have his biggest opening, but then it'll turn around. The part they won't say out loud is it'll also have its biggest fall off. I bet second weekend.
They are going to compare it to Oppenheimer. They are going to compare it to Dark Knight Rises, whatever those numbers were. They're going to compare it to Interstellar. So it's going to come in and get ranked. I just don't know if it'll be at the top of the list. It could be his biggest opening.
He would have hoped that they should have tied this in somehow with Spider-Man, since they're sharing a lot of the same cast like he did with Oppenheimer. He would have been better off, because I think once Spider-Man hits, this thing is going to get crushed. And I'm not even sure if it's going to be able to hang on to all the IMAX screenings with Spider-Man.
Well, you're right. I think it's going to be front loaded. I do think it's going to be his biggest opening, because Oppenheimer did like 181 for its opening, and that was his biggest opening.
We also have to remember that this Spider-Man is coming off of the biggest Spider-Man movie ever.
That's right.
Like, that's the thing most people got to understand is like, look, I get it. Some people are kind of like meh with the trailers, and they're like, oh, I hate that story.
Yeah.
But from the response that I'm seeing with the ticket sales, with the response that I'm seeing with everything going on, this is reminiscent of Spider-Man 3 all over again.
I think, is this a Disney movie or is this a Sony?
It's both. Technically, it's released by Sony, but it's produced by the Marvel folks. But at the end of the day, though, like I said, like with Spider-Man 3, that was the highest grossing one up until the modern films. And Andre would be the first one to point out, as he has many a time, the only reason Spider-Man 3 was the highest grossing one was because it was on the heels of Spider-Man 2, which was the most popular one at the time. So because of the response to that film, I think that this movie is going to do I think Spider-Man is going to probably have one of the biggest openings ever. for a superhero movie.
Yeah, well,
if not
Sony
the
doesn't have
biggest.
any problem with their Spider-Man. I mean,
I think
other
people
than
are
things like-
underestimating this one a little bit because of I got to
Yeah.
remind people that we're coming off of No Way Home,
Mhm.
which was the biggest Spider-Man. Like, we're talking big bucks, right? Like, got to go back and like Spider-Man No Way Home played as good as Avenger films.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like,
Yeah.
it's a big, big,
It did,
huge
and it's
leap.
going to play better than the next Avengers film. For
Well, and
sure.
it was a big event.
Probably.
Because it was a big event because it was getting leaked that Andrew Garfield and Toby, you know, it was like, what? I got to see this, right? So
That
it
helped
was
that
something
film. Don't get me
special.
wrong.
And Sony has been doing things right with their primary Spider-Man,
but it
stuff.
delivered.
Movies,
See,
Venom and the animated stuff. They're doing great.
but it delivered. See, that was the main
It did,
thing,
yeah.
Chris.
It was fun.
See, if No Way Home hadn't delivered,
Yeah.
because of all the films we've had in the last 2 years of like that, like Multiverse of Madness and all these other ones that promised awesome cameos and all this other kind of crap, that was the first one that even over Flash, it even shat all over the Flash, which, as we pointed out, like that's the only reason that movie exists. Because to remind people, we were going to get a completely different Spider-Man 3 at one point,
Right.
Until they decided Michael Keaton was coming back into Flash, and Feige's like, no, fuck that, we're bringing back Toby and Garfield, like that's what we're going to do, and it did. It trumped their ace.
Kudos to Kevin Feige.
Yeah.
That was the right call. I mean, we give him a lot of shit, but stuff like that, he deserves credit for.
And he's been doing that since the beginning, is having one up on DC up until recently, where, you know, it was, oh, you're going to do Batman v Superman? Well, we're going to move up Civil War.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like, you know, shit like that. They've been doing that forever and eating DC's lunch the whole time.
He's been a wonderkin for a while. And don't forget that it's because of No Way Home that I think Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness
absolutely
opened at 187. That's huge.
And that's why I maintain that that's the film that broke the Marvel Universe.
Yeah. Well, it certainly,
because at that moment was when
yeah.
the audience realized, I'm not seeing a Doctor Strange 2. I'm not seeing Spider-Man follow-up.
Mm-hmm.
I'm seeing a sequel to WandaVision.
Yep.
If they were even smart enough to figure that out, because that's if you were even aware of WandaVision. See, that's the thing, is people need to understand is that the thing that killed Marvel, and here's a video for you, Andre. Beyond all the woke MCU shit, you know what really killed Marvel was putting them on fucking TV and making them just as important as the fucking movies, because nobody watched those fucking shows. I don't care what anybody says. The highest, I think, rating they had was 4 million people hate watching She-Hulk or whatever it was at one point. Like, maybe the only other I think Loki was the only other show that.
To be fair, sorry, I didn't mean to intercut there, but to be fair, a lot of people did see WandaVision, and there was a problem with that. WandaVision, that was all Kevin Feige. Yeah. WandaVision was not WandaVision, but WandaVision was the point where Kevin Feige had full creative control, and he chose to do WandaVision to set the stage for everything that followed. And WandaVision is complete and total dog shit. It's an awful, awful show that many tried to convince themselves was okay and that it was even good. No, it wasn't. It was always dreadful. And it has aged horribly, and only garbage has come from it.
Well, the ramifications, it's
aged horribly now, but I think those first couple of opening episodes held a promise at something really interesting that they never really achieved.
Well, it doesn't matter. Like, my point is even at its height, how many people actually were watching WandaVision at its height?
But there were a lot of people talking about it.
It may have been, but
phone battery or his laptop.
Yeah, it's getting low, so we're gonna have to run through these here quick. Let me make sure there's nothing for Paul. I don't think there is, because this is the last super chat, and we got a couple
Valentine puppy
Rumble rants, but I don't think anything has to do with Paul, so I think we can let him slide out if he need be. But I'm gonna real quickly read the one that's on screen real quick here. Valentine puppy sends in $4.99, says the only Lupita I recognize is Lupita Quezada. I can't even say this.
Quezadas.
Is that how you say that? For the 1959. Yeah, for the 1959 Santa Claus, she played Lupita. By the way, Ellen Page was beautiful. Elliot is tragedy. Love you. Yeah, I think most people agree that,
Ellen Page really was beautiful.
She was.
Yeah.
It's weird how they call, in the stunt casting universe that is the Odyssey. Back in the day, stunt casting would it be? Gregory Peck is in here.
Or Kirk Douglas or something like that.
Yeah, it'd be some Jan Murray is in it. Oh, look, they squeezed in,
you
Johnny
got Elizabeth
Carson.
Taylor playing.
Yeah, so these little things, and I mean that's stunt casting, cameo stuff. But each one of those extras. Oh, look, Shelley Fields or whatever. I mean,
Sally Field, but yeah,
Sally Fields or something. You'd go
Shelley Long.
Yeah, exactly. And it would just increase your interest and enjoyment of seeing people who you recognize and enjoy. And this is the weirdest quote unquote stunt acting exercise. If your job or if your role and interest is actually to get people into the cinema to watch what it is that you've done. But on the other hand, maybe this is a Gen Alpha equivalent of stunt casting.
Well, I can't imagine people felt this way when Heston and all those guys were cast in the Ten Commandments, for instance, right? Like,
yeah, but he was starring in it. You'd have, you had, Robinson.
You had all kinds of
Robinson.
Yeah, you had all kinds of, but that's kind of the equivalent, right? But that's my point is like, you didn't have, sure, there was some modernism in there, I'm sure, that was thrown in there at the time. But at the same time, it doesn't take away from the film itself. We know they didn't speak English like that, right?
Yeah, and at the time you'd have John Gielgud and Anthony Quinn, and they would throw as much as they possibly could against the wall.
Well, and they would add a little more prestige to it. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but I mean, it's a different era. I mean, we don't do that kind of casting.
Stage plays have been known to do it, though. I think when. Who was it that had booked Rosie? Grease had Rosie O'Donnell or something like that, right? When she was controversial or whatever.
Well, she also loved that. She was well known to have loved that musical.
That's right. So it's almost like we can come up with examples that seem to be excusable. And the excusable element here is that Page and Nolan have a history of working together.
Right. Part of the team.
So he can look at us with a straight face and say, Elliot was the best actor for the role. And what are you supposed to say? I mean, are you supposed to call him out and say, no, it's not. It's stunt.
You know what? I just remember how first season of the Umbrella Academy was just fantastic. Really enjoyed it. And Ellen Page played this very powerful character dressed in white that was able to amplify sound and practically destroy the planet on her own. And then season 2, over the summer, as they say, Elliot came out and they struggled like mad fools to try to insert the fact that the white angel is no longer female and is kind of a guy, but always has been. And season 2 was shit. Like they tried desperately to explain how that character.
I had an ex who was really into that show until that happened, and like they didn't follow any of the kind of political stuff we did, but just listening to them talk about that then compared to the conversations we have, it was kind of quaint to hear just a normie like come to the conclusion of how stupid it was to try and cram that. And they're like, why didn't they just recast them?
They or asked Ellen, can you just stay for the run of this as a girl? Could you please?
You're an actor. Just continue to act like a girl. Like, what the fuck?
That's right. So
I was trying to think of a one that went poorly, and you might consider. Remember when Val Kilmer did The Island of Dr. Moreau, and it was Marlon Brando as the doctor?
Yeah, that was fun.
I heard about it. I never saw it. I heard it was a terrible movie.
There's a documentary about it that's fabulous to watch.
So someone could have.
The documentary is actually better than the movie.
Agreed. Yeah, agreed.
Someone could actually have asked Elliot to play a trans woman.
Ooh, I love it.
Well, and this is what I said.
And then the Umbrella Academy would have been fine.
And you give the makeup person, here's a photo of Ellen Page. I want Elliot to look like this.
Well, normally Elliot would be the perfect candidate to be an actor, right? Somebody who doesn't necessarily feel comfortable in their own skin, but that doesn't mean you have to surgically alter yourself to become. Look, Johnny Depp has been playing different people for 30 fucking years.
And he's been surgically altering himself, though.
Exactly. He's been doing that to himself. That has nothing to do with the roles. That's all wine and dined. Like, no, like, what the fuck? Like I brought up, like, what the hell? Like, I remember when Linda Hunt played a guy in that one movie.
Yeah.
It's like, why couldn't Ellen
Living Dangerously?
Yeah, there's plenty of roles that Ellen could have played a guy in, like a mousy, smaller person that, you know, you can't always find the right kind of actor for, you know? Hell, Elliot could have played Prince Adam. You know, honestly, and it made more sense. And you had the other kid play the He-Man version. I know. I'm just saying, it might as well at this point with what they fucking did to the movie, though.
I'm just saying that, you know, the Umbrella Academy season 2, I think, really suffered from them now trying to shoehorn Elliot Page in it, because I loved season 1. I thought it was fantastic. So anyway,
does season 1 end in a succinct enough way that if somebody said just watch season 1 you'll be pleased, or is it leave a cliffhanger where you had to come back?
Wow. Oh, well, I mean, the universe. I know what I can't recall. All I remember is that I really enjoyed it. It was a great story, very different, great group of characters in it, and very, you know, in much the same way as what's the DC one that had the robot guy. Season 1 of that was pretty good. Not the Squad. Again, it was a bunch of misfits.
Metal Men?
No, it wasn't Metal Men.
Titans?
Nope. Oh, Titans was terrible.
Yes, yeah. You mean like the Suicide Squad, kind of like
it.
Monster, yeah, the animated thing.
But it wasn't animated.
Creature
it was
Commandos?
No.
Creature Commandos.
No. He's not talking about that. He's talking about something else.
It had the voice.
Oh no, I know what you're talking about. Yeah,
it had the voice of the one guy who played who got an Academy Award for being.
I know.
George of the Jungle.
Oh, it was the same character.
Not Umbrella, but the other one.
The guy who played George of the Jungle. What was his name?
Yeah. Brendan Fraser.
Brendan Fraser.
Yeah, it was that robot
the voice
guy.
of the robot.
Yeah. Doom Patrol.
Doom Patrol.
Doom Patrol.
Yeah.
Season 1 of Doom Patrol was just absolutely fantastic too. So I enjoyed that.
And
that was pre-James Gunn.
Let's buzz through these Rumble rants, and we got a couple super chats, and then that way we can all get out of here. Unless Paul's got to run.
No, yeah, let's rush it while I still have battery.
Okay, One Punch Fan has a slew of them here. Because lots of guys would have Juno Ellen Page to get her pregnant. The reason Oppenheimer made money is because Florence got her pew out.
Oh boy.
Yes.
That's not totally
it
untrue. Didn't hurt.
Didn't.
And then One Punch Fan says, I wanted Nolan's Odyssey to break box office records so other in Hollywood would try it too, so then start losing even more money overall. Blah, ha, ha, ha. Well, you don't have to. They've already been doing that for the last decade or so. One Punch Man. So, yeah.
Exactly. And they still haven't learned because there's someone telling them to do it and filling in more money. So, yeah.
And then One Punch Fan says,
it's more a matter of awareness.
Says, I will only watch Nolan's Dune if it has the 8 minutes of Dune 3 in it, then either fall asleep once the movie starts. Yeah, I don't think there's going to be any connection with that because I don't think they're released by the same company, but
they're not.
And then One Punch Fan says, Chris, thank you for your service, sir. What rank did you retire with?
I did not retire. I just didn't re-up. So I ended at a petty officer, second class of the U.S. Navy.
There you go.
Thank you for asking. I was a CB, one of those welder guys. So, the CBs, great movie by John Wayne.
Yes.
You know, one of the coolest things that I ever did was to actually be on a real American hangar ship. I like the massive, like the what's it called? Like we call them hangar ship in Norwegian.
Aircraft
but I don't
carrier.
know what you call them in English. Aircraft, yes, aircraft carrier.
Yeah.
Oh, hangar
I've actually
ship.
been on one of those. Yes.
They're awesome.
Yeah, because
they're awesome.
Yeah, it's like you have like hangar, right? Yeah, that's what
Well, yeah.
hangar ship. Yeah,
there are what they do
but
is they
aircraft
bring
carrier. Yeah, it was.
they bring the planes up from the hangar bay area of the ship up to the deck.
Yeah. No, because my dad was also in the Norwegian army, and he was sent. He was brought over to America to teach the American forces winter warfare in like the mid-90s. That was actually the first time I went to America, and then he was able to get me onto the base and to get like a private tour of an aircraft carrier. That was pretty amazing.
They're jaw dropping, and don't think I haven't missed your Karl Marx T-shirt there, Paul.
It's not Karl Marx.
Come on. Oh
no, this is Louis Riel.
It looked like Karl Marx the way you were sitting, sir.
Yeah.
Well, One Punch fan also says Tom, fake British Norwegian singing tip. Okay, so that's how I sound, right? Okay, I sang as Andre while you were gone, by the way.
Yes.
Then One Punch fan says the bad joke got me muted on Rumble by a mod this morning. Why can't you trust a toilet because it's full of shit? I don't think it was one of our mods.
It was.
Yeah, just like Karl Marx.
No, I think that was taken out because it's a terrible joke.
Maybe.
And then Garvin Ambrose sends in 5 to say, fine, I won't take offense anymore. I'll start taking walls.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and then we're caught up on
gave
them.
You a roofie.
Oh. And then we got Marks47, who's been a member for 63 friggin' months.
Wow.
And then, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, here's Rod Thunderheart
from Canada.
Says, hail Andre, Tom, Chris, and Mr. Chato. I think in Moana, The Rock was worried people might accuse him of having bat nipples, so he had them erased. Is that what? I never even noticed. I knew something
he
was
has no
off
nipples
about
on the outfit.
Oh God! With spandex, make sure to check Pauling News. Appalling News, not E-Pauling. I don't know where I got E-Pauling. All Pauling News. News it people. That's what threw me off.
It people. Maybe that's in quotation marks for it people. People who are it people. Like
yeah,
maybe.
this my two-tire policing.
Two-tire
joke.
All the
that was pretty funny.
Got that joke.
It was 3 kids who skidded their tire marks on an official Pride crosswalk, and the police are after them in Canada, and I called it two-tire policing.
I hope they fry.
Yeah, they need to be hanged.
Absolutely.
What a terrible thing to do, to actually drive over a crosswalk.
They should have gone under the rainbow, not over it.
I think so. Well,
I thought it was somewhere over the rainbow, though.
Somewhere over the path.
That's what their defense attorney's going to say.
That's correct.
Yeah. Well, Paul, I'm glad you stuck around because that last super chat was for you. You would have missed it otherwise. So what do you got going on?
Today, let's see now. I might just relax today. I have an appalling news item that I worked very hard on that went out yesterday that I think is pretty cool, and I think I'm going to build up my energy to watch the Odyssey tomorrow and try to get the review out at the same time. So I'm not going to blow my brains out today.
Take a nap.
I'm taking a nap. Yeah. I need to build up strength to watch the movie.
Yeah. Okay. Strengthen your constitution, sir.
I will do that.
Awesome. So ask Chris what you got going on.
I'm falling behind on some work that I need to get to right away. If you do visit over to Bleeding Fool right now, we do discuss the backlash over in Greece over the Odyssey World Tour. Not only not casting any significant Greeks, but skipping Greece on the World Press Tour for the movie altogether.
Wow.
They did. Yeah, they did.
I wonder why.
Yeah. It's a bit of a mask off moment for Nolan, which you'll see from our AI.
Especially after all those tax credits.
Yeah, that's right, because they filmed some of it there. You wouldn't know it. We also talk a little bit about, I don't know if you guys caught the, I think Cosmic Book News got a copyright strike for posting what they thought was a spoiler that Kyle Chandler's character, Hal Jordan Green Lantern, dies in the first episode
Right.
of the upcoming Lantern series. So we've got some details on that. And Dark Horse Comics allegedly canceled a comic book writer, a Jewish comic book writer, graphic novelist who's done a few books with them about all sorts of topics, canceled his latest one because the editor asked him to do a forward of the book denouncing Israel's actions of genocide in Palestine. He said he wouldn't do any such thing, so Dark Horse has canceled the book. So some details there over at Bleeding Fool. Very
And what does that have to do with the book?
Well, the book consequently is about the Holocaust.
Okay, but that's something else.
It is absolutely. It's cartoonists against the Holocaust, and I don't know that for some reason now the legal department is saying that no such thing happened, but they did cancel the book, and they've done other books with this guy of a similar vein. And we kind of note that they lost their publisher and founder last year. They fired him, and he was a pretty good guy. And they also just let a union form at this publisher. So is that related? I don't know.
Oh my gosh.
They're in Portland, though, so it shouldn't be.
Well, I mean, first of all, he probably wouldn't have allowed Mouse to be published.
That's true.
Cartoon,
it's fantastic. Yeah, I've got the whole collected.
That's a Pulitzer Prize.
It's great
cartoon.
Yeah, it's great.
And I mean, up here, the BC Nurses Union has suddenly come out supporting the ultra communists in BC. So. Unions are a strange beast.
Yeah.
Well, we got a few more Rumble rants and then we're out of here.
Yeah.
One Punch fan throwing them out there says R&B said that the IMAX showing of the Odyssey has 8 minutes of Dune in the trailer. Oh, okay. So maybe they do. I guess I didn't realize they did. I figured it would have to be a Warner Brothers picture for that. So.
Well, anything to help.
No, it has to. Yeah, it has to be whoever pays.
That's true. And then One Punch fan says, I was muted on Chicks on the Right Rumble channel this morning for a joke. Oh,
okay.
Never heard of them. So
I hope it was temporarily.
Yeah, hopefully. And then he says, no Fox given. Well, we're going to give you some Fox. Well, we're going to give you a koala. But we can tell you it's a fox.
We'll give you some other furry animal. So, yeah.
Yeah, it'll still be furry. That's for sure. So the furries will unite over this.
When's y'all's next video coming?
Probably later tomorrow or something like that, I would imagine.
I don't know exactly what the next video is going to be from Midnight Edge because I haven't started writing it. Yeah, I have to choose between them or something else. So I haven't started writing it yet. So I don't know exactly which one it's going to be. But I know it's not going to come out today because I would have had to start on it for that to happen. But tomorrow. Yeah.
All right.
Look forward to it.
But I did drop a video over on Midnight's Edge After Dark. So check out the channel, the new version of it. And I'll be doing some more stuff over there. We've got to get the watch hours, got to get the subs. Please, 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 please help me out there. Then ActionCom says, Chato, break out the Groucho Marx shirt for next show.
Yeah, that actually looks like Jesse. What's
Jesse James? It does look an American cowboy. No, this is kind of
Canadian. Actually, kind of looks a little more Wyatt Earp.
Okay.
Wyatt Earp, yeah,
maybe.
Yeah,
Wyatt Burp.
Wyatt Burp.
Your link's in the description, Tom.
I believe so. Yes, and I'm sure the mods will grab it too. If
hit
not
that
6,
like,
I'm sure
everybody.
But yes. So speaking of 6, she sent me some stuff that I sent over to Andre. So hopefully we'll have a video before too long here in the next day or so. But take care of yourselves and each other, and as Andre always says,
it's time to bring on the koalas in the rain.
Koalas in the rain, koalas in the rain, no fucks given, koala, koala, koalas in the rain, koalas in the rain, no fucks given, koala, koala, koalas in the rain.